my name is Michał Kustosz, and I am a tech lead at deepsense AI. And today I wanted to tell you how to create apps with OpenAI API. So, why OpenAI? There are multiple providers of access to LLMs and chats. So OpenAI is industry leading, and they have very strong models, but also what is more important from the standpoint of creating apps, their API is very mature with lots of capabilities. They have great developer tools, and they continue to innovate. So, for example, today broke news that they are introducing new agent API capabilities. For example, web searching and file searching, and also they shown to be state of the art on some benchmark from agents. So this is quite exciting, and also these tools are ready to use from today. So it's really great. So if we are talking about OpenAI and LLMs, we need to start from the models. So there are plenty of models provided by OpenAI, and they come with different kinds and types. So I think it's good to separate them like this. So there are reasoning models, flagship chat models, cost optimized, real-time, and image generation, and also lots of others. And I have to add that this is really dynamic. So from month to month, this list will change. So I put here only those models which I think are the best to use for now. And this is really dynamic. So later we will jump into all those categories. But also, if you need to see which model you want to use, I think it's good to visit the OpenAI platform website and to compare them. And they do this in a really basic way. So with all kinds of symbols here, this is really to see what kinds of modalities they support. It's easy to see the pricing and the capabilities of those models. So if you're struggling to keep up with all those strange names, with all, you can visit this site and see by yourself. But going back here, I think that most what you need is GPT-4o and maybe O3 mini for most use cases, like text generation. But we will go to the more detail. So the other way to put the categories of those models is to see the chat models, image generation, and audio generation. So there are models that combine many different modalities, like for example GPT-4o. But for example, for image generation, you have specialized models like DALL-E 3. And also audio input and audio generation, you have specialized models for this. So for example, you have GPT-4o audio preview as a state-of-the-art model which listens to audio and processes it. So when we're talking about multimodal, we say that multimodal is text, is images, it's audio, maybe videos also, but I'm not sure if videos is already there. And GPT-4o is like the flagship model to do everything. So it is one model which understands all those modalities. And to say understands, it means that it does not only understand text tokens, it also understands audio tokens and image tokens. So there is no under the hood translating images to text and then responding based on the text, but really multimodal capabilities is about seeing the image or like hearing the audio. So there is also one model, GPT 4.5 preview, which was released like maybe 2 weeks ago. And for now, this is the most capable model of OpenAI, but it does not support all the modality as GPT-4o for now. And still, this is like 30 times more expensive to use and 3 times slower than the flagship model GPT-4o. So for now, I would recommend not to use this in everyday apps, but maybe to wait some time if this model will get mature, maybe some distilled version or thinking versions. I think we have to wait for better model than this. Okay, so now I would like to talk about using API. So the most basic use is to send a text to OpenAI API and to get the text back. So for example, my content here is write a 1-sentence bedtime story about a unicorn. This is done in Python. We have a special SDK for OpenAI Python usage, API usage here. So this is really easy to program with this. So this is the most basic thing we can do. We can also send images, and not only text. Here is an example how to call, how to put image into our input to the model. In this case, we have an URL, but also we could just send a base 64 encoded image, raw image into the API. And we have a response. So the prompt is what is on the image, and the response will be about the image we sent. So this is most basic usage. And now we have a lot of nice functionalities alongside this, this API calling. So structured outputs is one prominent. Structured outputs is a functionality that allows the caller of the API to force OpenAI to return an output in a JSON structured form. This is only supported by those models listed here, present. So as an example, here on the left-hand side, we have 2 classes in Python, math reasoning, which contains of a list of steps. And a step is just 2 string fields, explanation and output. So now if we put an argument to the OpenAI API response format math reasoning, it knows what to do and how to interpret this class. So it knows it has to return a math reasoning as an output. On the right-hand side, we can see that we have a list of steps here, and each step is exactly what we wanted. And this is really cool because usually what you had to do is to provide a big prompt with some examples of this kind, and your prompt were really, really big and unnecessarily focus on the output format. And now your prompt may be just one-liner here, but you need to provide the structure in the argument. So this is really, really useful for multiple apps. I would like you now to show an example how the structured outputs are used in a sample application I created. So this is an extension to Google Slides, which can generate slides. This is called deep slides. So I can open this dialog, which enables me to create slides. Now I can put some prompt, for example, create a presentation about Einstein, why he liked deepsense AI. And now what I'm doing is drafting my presentation, and what is being done in the background is that we are sending the structure and the template of the presentation plus my prompt to the OpenAI API, and we need to have and we want to have some structured output. So we have like a title, presentation flow, and slides. And how it looks like on the backend side. So we have a draft slides function call here, and we can see what was the input to the OpenAI API. So the input was like the template format. So slide 1 is a title slide. If you want to use it, you can do this, but you have to fill item and title field. And those are explained here. So item is current date. So you can see that if even a large language model sees the structure and has a specified prompt, he can choose the slides and fill those slides with a meaningful input. So this was the input, and now the output. OpenAI's response is the following. So first, we have a presentation title, and now we have presentation flow, which is a list of sections. So section name, section description, section name, section description. We have also proposed alternatives. So I would like the generator of slides to propose how differently I could structure my presentation so that I can refine it later. And the list of slides. Slide consists of an index and what I need to replace to get text. So for example, I need on the title slide, I need to change this text to this text. And if I got this JSON, I can easily transform my template of presentation to a presentation with field content. So going back here, I can see my slides, which I presented in a better manner than JSON here. At the end, I have refinement proposals. I could refine my presentation, but let's just generate those slides. And we can see that now I have a fully ready presentation about why Einstein liked deepsense AI. I think this is valid, so so let's move on. Okay, so now function calling.
Can we have questions?
We can have questions at the end of the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
So function calling is another capability which is very, very useful. It allows to LLM to trigger arbitrarily to trigger function calls which we predefined in our API call. So this is an example how to use this. On the left-hand side, we have a Python code with one function defined. The function is getWeather, and we have to describe this function. So get current temperature for a given location. This is text to LLM so that he knows when to call this function. And the parameters. So each function has a parameter. Here we have location, and that's all. So now if we are chatting with LLM, sometimes he can realize that when I'm asking about the weather, it's better to call a tool which gives me a proper answer rather than hallucinate the answer because he doesn't know. So the output of the LLM for this particular function call is this. So I didn't put here an input, but we can infer that somebody asked about weather in France, in Paris. And if we have this kind of structured function calls, we can easily call them in our Python environment or any other environment. Okay, now let's focus on audio. So GPT-4o has multimodal capabilities, but we have also another version of GPT-4o, which is GPT-4o audio, which is fine-tuned for better audio understanding. So instead of pasting text as a prompt, we can just put an MP3 or other format file, and GPT will know what to do with this. And this is also multilingual out of the box. Also, one model which is quite old for now, this is from 2022, I believe. This is Whisper. This is just a speech-to-text application. This is prominent because this is an open source application. So you can either use OpenAI API to access Whisper, and this is really convenient because they have great infrastructure to run this, but you can also run this locally on your computer if you would like. And Whisper also works for multiple languages and transcribes the text really good. So now I would like to show you another demo. This is a tool called SpeakClip. I used it for a while, but now I decided to put it to GitHub, so you can also use it. I did it like yesterday, so this is quite fresh, but what it's actually doing is I integrated my desktop shortcuts to contain to listen to me when I want to. So I can just click a shortcut on my computer, like Control Space, and I can transcribe my speech. So, for example, now I am talking about something. You heard a pop sound, and now I don't know where to paste it, maybe here. Okay, so it understood me in Polish, I think, but usually it works in multilingual. So actually, this is just Whisper. So I can create, just transcribe my speech. But also, what is, I think, really interesting, I have another tool, which is voice commands to GPT integrated into my desktop. So, for example, I can paste something to my clipboard, and then with Control-Shift-Space, I can ask, for example, to summarize what is here. Please summarize contents. Okay, and after a while, okay, you cannot see anything here because we can maybe paste it here. Okay, so SpeakClip is a Linux tool that provides voice-to-text transcription. So this is really useful because I don't have to switch context when I'm using GPT, and I can, for example, do this on my Slack to answer messages, or I can, for example, select a code which I'm reviewing, and without switching context, I can just ask about some stupid errors. And this works really fast, like 2 or 3 seconds for each query. Okay, so that was SpeakClip. I encourage you to try this out. Okay, and now other audio API capabilities. So there is also real-time API in OpenAI, which I think is really interesting because it is like speaking with AI assistant, but with low latency. And this is because we don't have to do something like this. We don't have to first transcribe what I'm saying, put it to a normal text GPT, and then generate text to speech. This does not work like this. This just takes an raw audio as input and returns raw audio as output. And that's why it can be really, really fast. So another demo. Let's see another application which uses this API. Okay, so here you see a sample application with, this is from OpenAI, that can hear me and talk with me. So let's give it a shot. Hello, please design for me a color palette about deepsense AI, which is a tech company.
Here's a color palette inspired by the theme of deepsense AI.
Okay, sorry, this looks really funny. Can you make it more professional?
Here's a professional color palette inspired
Okay,
by
but I need more blue and gray.
Do you like the color palette?
Okay, now it's better, but can you talk like a pirate now?
Arr, matey. Here be your color palette, awash with blues and grays.
Okay, now count from 1 to 10, but do it fast.
Sorry, matey, but I can't sing or hum a tune for ye. But I can still count.
Thank you. Okay, now how I... okay, so on the left-hand side, we see the messages in real time. And what we did, we were chatting, and also we could interrupt this assistant when we were generating new text. And now this is possible because it uses WebSockets or WebRTC protocols. So the connection is like streaming, and we can do really all sorts of impressive things like voice bots, like character dubbing inside of games. So I think this is really, really interesting. Okay, now image generation. This is quite straightforward. So we can just query OpenAI for some kind of image. Okay, this is a prompt white Siamese cat, but this does not correspond with that. So this is another prompt. But what is being done under the hood is that Dolly recreates your prompt so that it is really detailed, and then creates a detailed picture about what he thinks you would like. And this works really, really great. I don't think OpenAI is the best in image generation. I think this is not their priority, but still you can use it, and this is really, really fun. Okay, and now agents. So agents may be the future of OpenAI and LLMs. Agents are combining multiple those functionalities which I talked about. So like function calling, structured outputs, tools, and so on. And agents are really great because if we leverage agents for everyday tasks, they are really, really powerful. So, for example, there are agents that are accessing the computers. And in theory, it can just click anything on the screen, and then it can do like anything. So if you have a good agent, you can like have something like artificial general intelligence, maybe. But still, we are maybe 2 years from this, so no worries. You can prepare. Okay, so jokes aside, agents are really cool. There is an agent like Operator, which today has a great update, and you can use Operator API. And what do the agents do? So here is an example of agent from our internal project. This agent is called Beagle, and this agent can, for example, review your Slack messages. He can look at Jira tickets. He can create a Jira ticket, and he can do all sorts of things to streamline your everyday life in a company. So we are just adopting this tool. So I'm very excited about this. And I didn't do this tool, but I'm first to try it out. And as you can see, Beagle is outputting some Jira tickets here based on the prompt. He can look at our Confluence internally and so on. Okay, so to sum up, I think OpenAI API is very powerful. It can create really impressive apps, and this is, I think, the future of customer apps. So I think OpenAI does it the best, and I encourage you to try those APIs to learn it. Go to the official website to do so, because this is a great resource. And I think that's all.